Alright, what is up guys? Sam here, back again with another video for you, and it's just a quick one today. So hopefully in this video I'll be able to help you guys out with a bit of your skipping and a bit of help choosing the skipping rope as well. So I can't count the amount of times that I've walked in the gym, had a little walk around, had a look on the wall sort of thing, picked up a skipping rope, and 90% of gyms all provide the same skipping rope, which looks like one of these. Audio is probably terrible, let me take out a bag for you. There we have it, just a simple rope like this. Now, there's a reason why gyms provide you one of these when you go in and they have them on the wall. And the first reason is because they're dirt cheap. They're cheap as chip, you can get them for like £3-4 per rope. If you buy bulk, probably get them cheaper. But the second reason is, they're probably one of the best ropes you can actually use. The amount of times I walk in and I'll go to if you go to a more premium gym, you'll see people with these crazy skipping ropes. They got like the big leather ones with the wooden handles, proper old school style, or the worst ones you see is in a boxing gym when you see them with like a CrossFit skipping rope, or one of those ones with like all the weights in the handle. Now, don't get me wrong, like skipping ropes are all made differently for a reason. They all have a purpose, but if you're in a boxing gym, you train to box, the purpose for your skipping is like your coordination, your flow, and obviously then you've got like your conditioning side of it as well. But when you're boxing, skipping get boring as hell. Like, we all know that. So that's why boxers add in tricks. You got your doubles, you got your crossovers, your side to sides, and all of that sort of stuff. And with a lot of the modern ropes that you see with the weights in, the wire ones that have like, they spin around the handle rather than spinning through the handle, is you can't do a lot of these tricks with it. So when you're jumping with it, you're literally stuck to literally just jump in standard. And while that's not an issue, and if you want to have weights in them, it can be beneficial for training, but personally I think for boxing there should be, you should get one of two ropes, and I've got them both here. First one is a dead basic rope, save yourself some money. Like, some of those other ropes go up to like £30 for a skipping rope, and I think it's just silly. If you're spending that money on ropes, do you know what I mean? You could put it elsewhere and you could get a better pair of boxing gloves, for instance, with that extra £30, and just things like that. So the other one I also recommend is similar again. So as you can see, the rope itself is pretty much identical. It's a tiny bit thicker, but it's the same sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, like PVC nylon sort of material. There's no cable in it, so as you can see, like, it's really flexible. This one's a bit more because it's thinner. But so, let me get a bit of a mess here. So that's your standard cheap rope, and then if you want something a little bit better, I like something like this personally, especially if I'm wearing hand wraps. If you're holding this with hand wraps, you're kind of pinching it a bit like that to try and skip with it. You can't really grip it properly. Not that you want to fully grip it anyway, you want kind of loose grip. But something like this, it's just a little bit fat around the handle for you. I've had this one forever as well. It's a little bit fat around the handle for you, so it just means that when you're skipping, you're not trying to pinch something as small, especially like occasionally I get cramp in my hands, things like that, and it definitely happens less with a fatter handled skipping rope. But there's no weights in it, it's just plastic. It does have some ball bearings in the end, just to help with spin, but they're the cheapest of cheaps, do you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to really do anything, it's just to help the rope turn. And as you can see, when you buy a cheap rope as well, as both of these are, what I like to do personally is tie little knots in the handles. Now, there's a few reasons for this. The first one is, if your rope does wear through, 90% of the time the ropes wear through where the rope spins in the handle. So this one probably won't wear through as quick as, say, this one would, because of the ball bearings. With the ball bearings turning, it means that the rope isn't rubbing as hard against the surface. Whereas with one with a standard handle, as you can imagine, the rope's going around and it's going to be wearing around that little area there, and the rope will eventually wear away. But by putting little knots in, what you can do when you start, obviously if you're really tall you can't really do this, so sorry about that. But if you're shorter, you can put a couple knots in, say one on each side, two on each side, rather than taking a rope out the end and cutting it down to your height. Tie a couple knots in, then when it does wear down, you just take the knots out, feed it back through, and you've got a full length rope again. So save a bit of money again, won't have to buy another rope as soon as it wears through. So yeah, that's it guys, just a quick little video. I might throw in some skipping over this, I don't really know. But yeah, stop wasting your money buying like these £30-40 skipping ropes. They're not going to do you any magical favours. They're not going to make your skipping any better. Get a classic rope, learn how to skip with it, and just enjoy skipping. Have some fun with it, work on your crossovers. It doesn't matter if you mess them up time after time. have some fun, do your crossovers, get your doubles, and enjoy it for what it is, guys. It's a cheap activity. £3 gets you skipping. Do you know what I mean? You can't get much better than that, especially for boxing conditioning. Yeah, that's it for the video, guys. I said it to be a quick one, and it is. So hopefully it stops you buying expensive rope and overspending money. Obviously, before I finish, I do want to say there are good expensive ropes as well. I do have a Nike rope that it's a little bit more pricey. It's probably around 20. I think I paid £15, but it's probably more now because I got it a couple of years ago. But it is a wired rope, so while I can do my double unders much quicker and I can skip normally, it's a bit lighter. If I want to do a crossover on it, it's really hard work, and 9 times out of 10 I won't land a crossover on it, just because the way the rope goes, if you cross it over, it'll coil up on you straight away because it's got that metal for it, which is why I love these cheap ropes. Do you know what I mean? They're brilliant. I've had hundreds of ropes. I've had weighted Adidas ropes, I've had the old school Stallion leather rope, and without a doubt I would always come back to either a cheap one with a cheap handle on it or another cheap one but with a ball bearing handle on it. That's just my opinion, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.